The joys of recording your very first video, your very first review. So we thought we'd pick something interesting to start with. We started off with a generic phone. Something that you can pick up from the Vodafone shop at the point. And it's probably the cheapest looking smartphone you could possibly buy. It comes in at the princely sum of £15. Yep, £15. Something that, 10 years ago would have been classed as bleeding edge technology, but now it's £15. That's all that comes from there. There's the side of the phone. Yes, it's called the Type Easy Vodafone 354. Obviously, it doesn't have it's so good it doesn't have its own brand. Let's have a look at its features, shall we? It has a 2-inch full-colour TFT display. Not so bad. Enjoyable mobile internet, yeah, of course, with built-in Opera Mini. Instant messaging with SMS, MMS and email. VGA camera, FM radio and SD card slot. So this doesn't actually make any reference whatsoever to the fact that it has a brand. According to this, it's just Vodafone. Whether they actually make it themselves, we don't know. But the main thing to point out about phones like this, yes, they're only £15, but if you remember 10 years back, something like this would have set you back a couple of £100. And now, it's £15. And, from what I can see on the box, it doesn't look that bad. As you can see, I've had to cover over the phone number there, because the stupid woman in there decided she would write the phone number on there, even though I told her this was going to be for review purposes. Anyway, let's open up this piece of crap. Good old security seals. Let's have a look what we've got inside. Oh, there's the phone itself. It's tiny. What else do we get in the box? Manual. Back of the phone. The charger with what looks like proprietary connector. Oh, well, there we go. Now we know what the brand is. It is Alcatel. Yes, that's makers of those wonderful phones that we all know and love. And shitty headphones. Right, let's have a look at the thing. It's good to know, the phone is made by the company Alcatel, which I have heard of, but they're obviously generic crap phones. It's good to know that trusted Vodafone enough to put their branding on the front of the phone. Oh, not right. Okay, so it doesn't feel as cheap and nasty as I was expecting. It actually feels, like a little phone. Let's take this crap off of here. Wow, huge screen, look at the size of that screen. And the tiniest of keyboards. And the phone itself doesn't feel too bad, the keys don't feel too bad, and it's got its own little look. Now we'll wait for it to focus. Come on. Come on. Why won't you focus? It won't focus in on the very small smiley face key, which amuses me, that the fact that it has its own, and it has a .com key and a smiley face key, but you can't see it because the phone refuses. Ah, there we go. Can you see it now? Look, smile. Come on, phone. No, it doesn't want to. No, it refuses. Okay, let's put this shit together. And the battery goes in here. Actually, no, we'll put a SIM card in. We'll be generous. Vodafone kindly gave me a SIM card. The amusing story when trying to buy this in the shop, I was almost got into a fight with a drunken guy who insisted that I pushed in. And all I wanted to do was buy a really shit £15 phone. It turns out he'd been stood there waiting for an hour, was getting increasingly more and more angry, and it turned out when he actually finally got to the counter he needed a £10 top-up card, which he could have got from the machine next to the door. True story. Anyway, right. I assume that SIM card goes in there, but how it goes in, one will not know. Does this thing flip up? No. Aha, there we go. Okay, so the SIM card doesn't actually fit. Or does it? How do you go in here? No, that clearly doesn't fit in there. Look. That's fantastic. Could be because it goes in here. Fantastic, you know, I'm good with these technical gadgets now. Right, that goes in that. Looks like that's the for the SD card. Right. Right, let's carry on. Pretend that never happened. I might even cut that one out. I didn't realise it actually came with a camera. A £15 phone with a £15 camera. It's going to look excellent. Right, what connectors do we get on this thing? Looks like that's the proprietary power connector there. And is that actually a 3.5mm headphone socket? I believe it is. I don't miss those days when all you got was the proprietary connections. Okay, let's switch this bad boy on. Tunes. Ooh, nice glowy pad. That was quick. Okay, well that's, you know, these days when you're so used to phones taking several years to boot up, and this one actually manages to do it straight away, which is actually truly amazing. Right, let's have a quick look at the screen. And it decides to focus for me. There we go. It doesn't stay on very long. Here's unlock. Press space key to unlock. Right, okay. Okay, so it's I'm gonna have to adjust this light, so hold on a second. That's probably about the best we're gonna get. Okay, so you can see the screen fairly clearly there. That's about the best we're probably gonna get. You can see it looks like a fairly generic screen with a timeout that doesn't last very long. Right, right, okay. Right, let's have a look. Apparently it doesn't have a SIM card in. Maybe we've done it wrong. Hang on. Or maybe the SIM just isn't activated. Let me just check the SIM at the back. Right, how do we open this bastard? Let's get it back open again. Is that SIM the right way around? Nope. Silly me again. Not only did I put the SIM in the wrong place, I put it in the wrong way around. Go me. Let's try again. I'm just wholly amused by the fact that how long this phone takes to boot up. I'm so used to Android phones taking 9 years to boot, and this one does it straight away. Right, what's it doing? Package installing. Auto restart? Okay, why are we doing an auto restart? Board. Yes, thank you for that wonderful tone. Right, okay, so it's searching now. It still thinks it's the 1st of January 2011. Okay, it looks like it's working. We've got battery power. Let's have a look at the phone. Right, first off, okay, so the look of the phone itself and the size, well, it's tiny. It's got a proper keypad on it, which is something you just don't see in this day and age anymore. It's classed in the Vodafone shop as classic, whatever that means in this day and age. Classic because it's got keyboards on it. It actually says in the product description on the website that it sends messages and has a keyboard, and that's generally the limit of its features. So I'm not expecting much. The reason why I got this one was basically because of the fact that, well, it looks like a smartphone. I mean, if you compare it to my phone, size-wise it's a bit small, certain as the screen. But let's have a look at its features, shall we? I can't imagine there'll be a great deal. Apparently it has Facebook, but we'll see. Right, let's have a look in here then. Menu. Okay, so it's got a little menu on it, so what have we got in here then? We've got the internet, which probably isn't going to work. Camera. Let's give the camera a try. Okay, so Let's see if we can take a picture. We shall take the picture of me. Marvellous. We shall delete that. No, we won't. We'll put it on the screen for you later. And applications, news, weather, services. Okay, let's have a look. What's in the news today? Yes, you may incur data charges. Okay, Yahoo News, BBC News, Google News. You know what? I don't really want the news or the weather. What services do we have? Vodafone synchronization. What is this? Really? Don't care. Profiles, my files, calls, messaging, organizer. Let's have a look at the organizer. We've got an alarm, a calendar, converter, world clock. Fairly standard. Media. Oh, it's got a video camera. And it plays music. And it has a radio. Please plug in the headset first. How about no? Music. There's an MP3 player. No, we have no music on there. Let's take out the camera. Okay, let's take some video. Let's take some video of me taking the video. And we'll post that up for you later. Yes, please. Thank you. Oh, it gives me the choice to email it or iMessage. Don't want to do either. Contacts, yes, we have none. Email, we have none. Settings, okay, that appears to be it. Okay, so I was under the impression that this thing came with some sort of social networking functionality. Obviously that was a lie. That is the functionality of the phone. What you see there on the screen is all it does. I shouldn't really be surprised, to be honest. I mean, let's have a look in the applications. Nope, there's no social networking on here whatsoever, even though it was blatantly advertised on the website as being so. You liars, Vodafone, you lied to me, you lied! Oh, I shouldn't be bothered. Right, let's have a look at the good program here. Shitty headphones! Hurrah! Charger, but at least it has the 3.5mm socket. I'm so pleased about that. Remember when phones didn't come with this and all you could plug in was these shitty headphones? Let's see if it says anything in the instructions. At least we have the English instructions. Oh, that's an awful lot of instructions for one phone. Blah 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 blah. Anything interesting in here? Just mostly warnings and don't use it while driving. Ay, ay, ay. Yep, it's all pretty box standard stuff that you got in a phone 10 years ago. But the question will be, does it actually function as a phone? No, we don't know that. Let's try messaging. Create message. Create message. Right. We're going to send this to... We're going to set it to yes, that'll do. Right, let's type a message and see if how this keyboard works. Where's the backspace? Where is the backspace key? Hello, backspace key. I can't find a backspace key. Can anybody see a backspace? No, neither can I. I can see a space, I can see a return, I can even see at. Ah, there it is. Right. Let's start that again. Let's just type the most basic of words. Hello. This is quite shitty. I didn't even remember shitty on the autocomplete. Keyboard. Keyboard. Okay, so the autocomplete just... Hang on, let's try it with different words. Yep, the autocomplete just decides that the words, even though they're wrong, are actually correct. Great. And as predicted, the keyboard is pretty shit. And it makes that horrible clicky noise. Look at that, it even thinks that's correct. Oh, it's got a bit of lag going on there. Options. Okay, so at the beginning when I use this... No, I want to exit. I know. Back. Exit. Back. Back. Okay, so that's pretty much the functionality of the phone. It's got no touchscreen capability, it's got a pretty basic keyboard on it, but for £15, can you really complain? I certainly couldn't. I mean, it's basic, it looks okay, it doesn't feel all that cheap, the keyboard's, you know, it's there, it actually has a keyboard, and in some cases I actually miss phones with keyboards, so the fact that it actually has one is a good thing. But would it actually function very well as a phone in today's day and age? Well, if you weren't bothered about social networking or accessing your tweets and your browsers and your internet on a minute basis, then it would probably work okay as a phone. I wouldn't necessarily give it to your granny, because you'd have quite a long time trying to figure out why there's all these keys and trying to find out why the A and the B aren't together at the same time. But, you know, if you've got a young teenager who wants his first phone and he's not too fussed about, you know, what he gets, this would be ideal. So, £15 you can't argue with it. There's a small addendum to, just as I was packing up the box to take the footage off the camera, I realised one small thing. I was going to take the photo and the video I'd taken of this to show you the quality of what it gets off it. However, there's one small tiny snag. There is no USB cable. Not one. Now we do have a proprietary connector which is there, which plugs the power charger into it. We have an SD card slot, but obviously we have no SD card in it. But there is no USB cable. How are we supposed to get anything off it? The answer is, we don't. Because the only way you would actually connect a data cable to it is find something that connects to that proprietary connector, which is not in the box. That's shit. Okay, so let's look at it from the point of view of, should it be destroyed? Yes? No. Let's look at it from the positive and the negative. I mean, obviously with the pros that you've got about it, it's cheap. It's got some functions. It's got a nice headphone jack. The battery life on it is fantastic. I mean, it's been on for 3 days constantly, and it's only still got 2 bars of battery on it, so, you know, battery life's great. But let's look about it from the sense of the negative points. It doesn't really have any functionality. We discovered that there's no USB cable, no SD card. Yes, if we had files on it, we could put an SD card into it, take the SD card out, plug the SD card into whatever it is you're transferring off and take the files off that way, but without a cable or an SD card, you know, you just can't do it, so what's the point? It's got a tiny little clicky keyboard with its little proprietary power connector thing, and it's just basic. Now, if you judge it by its price, you know, it's okay. I would go thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. However, because this is the first episode, we're going to have to destroy it. And that's just the way it is. Okay, so we're outside. I've got to think of some fun ways to destroy this thing. What have we got down here? We have the Doom Hammer. First port of call, I think, for the Doom Hammer. The Doom Block. This is where things will be destroyed. Say goodbye. Bye. It seems completely impervious to the Doom Hammer. What is going on here? This is very strange. The Doom Hammer will not destroy it. I think we need more extreme measures. In my mind, since this is the first episode, we need to do something quite special for the first one. So, you know, when I'm going to destroy a phone in some way, I automatically think of using the Alcatel F2000. It was basically made for destroying phones. Don't worry, this isn't real, it's just the airsoft version. Honest. Now we must get our safety glasses. Never attend anything without the safety glasses. Now we're ready to go shoot some phones.
Alright, let's have a look at the damage. Damage. Wonder if it still works. Well, would you believe it? Even with all that damage, it still turns on and the keyboard lights up and the screen comes on. That's rather cool.
So, in conclusion, we didn't do a great deal of damage to it. The keyboard's still intact, got a few dents in the shell where the metal bits are there. Screen absolutely wrecked, and as we said before, it still works, which is amazing. I mean, we're never going to use it again. We're going to put this in the box of destroyed things, and we're going to build a collection of these up, and the back survived alright. The inside, let's have a look on the inside. See what sort of state it's in. The SD card things, it's took quite a hit there, and it's bent the whole, buckled the whole back there, but it's still working. And the screen still lights up and everything. I think that's quite amazing. So well done for building an extremely tough and strong phone. So for that, I think it passes, and it gets more than 2 thumbs up for a £15 phone that survived an onslaught from an F2000 to AEG. So well done, Alcatel. You made a tough phone.